Well, good morning and welcome to the AM News. Now, government has launched the National Electronic Pharmacy Policy and Guidelines to ensure inclusive pharmaceutical care in the country. It would also lead to full operationalization of a digital platform for providing pharmaceutical services across the country next year. Launching the platform, Vice President Dr. Mahmood Bawumia explained the digitization of pharmacies would have the nation's pharmaceutical companies converged on one digital platform to address the difficulties of roaming and looking for medicine.
Why e-pharmacy? This innovation is dear to the government. A few years ago, at the annual general meeting of pharmacists, I threw a challenge to the pharmacists present. How can we use technology to improve access to pharmaceutical care in Ghana in a manner that complements our traditional brick-and-mortar pharmacy? Yes, there is that personal touch to the traditional face-to-face patient-pharmacist relationship, but there are ways that technology can improve access and delivery, especially to the large segment of the population scattered in the rural areas and the less urban areas. And even for those in the urban areas, how can technology reduce the information costs and transaction costs in accessing pharmaceutical services? Ladies and gentlemen, the innovations in our national health insurance, the deepening in training of our human resources and recruitment of health personnel, one constituency, one ambulance, the use of drones in the delivery of drugs, the innovation in institutional digital frameworks of the health sector, the agenda to build 111 health facilities to augment the existing ones are all major steps in achieving our goals.
Now, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Quartey, has directed MMDCEs in the region to intensify strict adherence to COVID-19 safety protocols to reduce the spread of the virus during this festive season. Speaking at the last council meeting for 2021, Mr. Quartey gave an update on his outfit's project, Let's Make Greater Accra Work agenda.
And as we roll into the new year, I've heard that some people say that, oh, Henry is gone to sleep. Henry is not sleeping at all. Henry is rather warming up because hopefully next year we'll come back and we'll hit the ground running very, very fast. On the issue of COVID-19, the President has issued the safety protocols and they still hold. I have directed the MMDCs to, as a matter of urgency, go back to their respective assemblies, work with the stakeholders to ensure that people would adhere to the COVID protocols. And I want to believe that same will be carried out. Because we are getting to the Christmas festivities, we thought it wise to allow the traders to do some business in the few weeks that is left, which is understandable. So let nobody get it wrong that we have relented in our efforts to make Accra work. No. Rather, we think that it's Christmas. Let us allow them to do business. But I can assure you that from middle of January next year, we'll come back full breach, and I say full breach, on the issue of Operation Clean Your Frontage. The city response team will be going to training very soon. It is expected that the first batch will pass out by the end of January.
Now, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Health and Allied Sciences says his outfit is committed to being a great health research educational institution. Professor John J. Pond believes the institution would engage in partnerships to positively impact humans globally. He was speaking at UHAS's 10th anniversary media launch on the main campus at Sokode in the whole municipality of the Volta region.
University of Health and Allied Sciences was established by an Act of Parliament, Act 828, which received presidential approval in December 2011. It, however, admitted its foundation students of 154 in 2012. UHAS is devoted to teaching, research, and service in the health sciences. It currently runs 7 schools, 2 institutes with over 3,500 students. Speaking at the media launch of UHAS's 10th anniversary celebrations, Vice-Chancellor Professor John Owusu-Japan underscored their humble beginning.
As a university, we do not despise our humble beginnings. Instead, we shall use this opportunity to showcase what we have achieved and how we have come this far as the leaders in academic prowess in this country as far as our faculty are concerned and what our students are also achieving worldwide. We shall focus on the gains that have made a young enterprising university seeking to build capacity on all fronts for the health sector. We shall use the occasion also to present and market ourselves as an institution of excellence and innovation worthy of notice in the tertiary education scenario in Ghana and beyond.
He also stressed the university's commitment to becoming a preeminent health research educational institution.
UHAS is focused on being a preeminent health research educational institution dedicated to community service through teaching, research, and dissemination of knowledge, as well as providing clinical and other services to improve the health status and overall quality of life of our people. Ultimately, we shall foster partnerships that would positively impact on our global humanity. In sum, the celebration is reiterating the statement that UHAS is shining and a great giant is arising.
The University's Council has approved a series of activities to mark the 10th anniversary. The activities include lectures, awards of honorary doctorate degrees, STEM engagement in senior high schools, research dissemination, exhibition, among others. The 10th anniversary congregation, Deba and Awards dinner dance are scheduled to be held in July 2022. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Sokode, Lokwe.
Now, the Coalition of Concerned Teacher Fund Board is asking its members to remain resolute in their quest for excellence and better working conditions. The board has organized a forum to account to members how it has managed contributions for the year. Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bugri reports.
The annual general meeting is the platform that offers the teachers the opportunity to question the leadership managing the fund and any concerns they have. It is also a platform to deliberate on the progress and welfare of its members. Speaking to the media, Secretary to the CCT Fund Board, Kingsley Enyimadu, said the fund has the lowest interest in the country and is offering its members the opportunity to save.
Now, a member of the CCT fund can take a loan to the tune of 20,000. When you have contributed to a certain amount, or you don't have the affordability to take a loan, you can come for partial withdrawal. There are a lot of things that we are doing. As we speak, we have one of the lowest interest rates in this country, if not the lowest, 10.2 per annum. And we feel that these are some of the things if you look at the theme of this AGM, encouraging the culture of saving in the working life of a Ghanaian teacher. And if your salary is even 100,000 per month and you do not save, you do not have a future. Saving is the cornerstone of any worker or even a businessman.
He said they have a membership close to 26,000.
We have the CCT Ghana as the parent body. Anybody who becomes a member of the CCT Ghana has the right or has the opportunity to join the scheme. Currently, as you speak, per our report to AGM, we are currently getting to 26,000 members. So you can imagine it is not a fund that is in a small fund. It's big, 26,000 members. So anybody who enters, and people come voluntarily to join the union and contribute to the fund. Even other people, especially the non-teaching staff of the Ghana Education Service, some of them have approached us that they want to be part of their fund.
Now, the Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research has received approval to release 2 new tomato varieties for cultivation in Ghana. This has become necessary after years of research by scientists from the institute with financial support from the Korean Program on International Agriculture and the government of Ghana through the Obatampa Care Program. More in this report.
Certified seeds of new varieties which have been christened CRI Kobna Kobna and Kopia tomato would be available next year to enable farmers to have access for cultivation. The new varieties took 55 days to mature, unlike the current varieties which took approximately 80 to 90 days to mature. Dr. Michael Kwabna, a senior research scientist at CSIR, said a yield per hectare is 20 tons, 3 times the yield of the current varieties, which normally would produce 7.5 and 10 tons per hectare. Addressing farmers at a training workshop on the cultivation of the new tomato at Akomadan in the Ofinso North municipality of the Ashanti region, Dr. Osei, the lead researcher, said the new varieties would enable farmers to produce the quality and quantity of tomatoes Ghana needed for both domestic and industrial use.
So as a research institute mandated to work on tomato, we started working on tomatoes to actually get some varieties released. Went through a process we call pure line selection, and so we picked the line from our own farmers field, took them to our research institute and began to work on them. As I speak, we have received approval to release 2 of these varieties, and then they agreed to name it CRI Kwabna Kwabna and then Kopia tomato. Now, unique about these varieties is that one, it's early maturing. That is, it takes 55 days after planting to see it mature, which is earlier than the local farmers, the one that the local farmers have been growing, which take between 80 to 90 days. And so we say it's early maturing. 2, the yield is very high. We are recording 20 tons per hectare, which is twice or thrice what the farmers are getting. Farmers are getting between 7.5 to 10 tons per hectare. And so our variety is yielding very high. And that's where in both major and minor season. But of course, you need to get a good agronomic practices to get a potential of the varieties. Apart from this, our variety is tolerant to certain diseases. More importantly, what we call tomato leaf blight. So we're looking at both the early and late. So in the rainy season where we have high incidence of this disease, our variety is able to tolerate it. So despite the symptoms that you see on the field, we still get appreciable yield. And so it makes our variety tolerant to leaf blight. Again, in terms of brace is total soluble solids. This is one requirement that most tomato processing factories look at. Our variety is given between 6.3 to 6.8 brace. What it means is that the total soluble solid is very high. The standard is usually between 4.8 and above. And so we believe it makes our variety a dual purpose, which means both the fresh market and the processing factory can use it.
Mr. Lim Yong-taek, the Korean ambassador to Ghana, said achieving greater self-sufficiency in tomato production with enhanced productivity had become one of the urgent national tasks for the government. It was the reason Kopia and the CSIR-CRI embarked on a joint research to breed improved varieties of tomato that were adaptable to the Ghanaian market.
To disseminate the new varieties to the Ghanaian farmers, so we continue to support in that regard.
Now, electronic toys form the bulk of Christmas items. Unfortunately, that presents a challenge for traders who mostly have little education or knowledge on electronics when the items start malfunctioning. On Tech Thursday, Love FM's Chrissy Deborah looks at how light and sound affect sales of Christmas toys and how these traders are coping with their maintenance.
Sound travels through liquids, solids, and gases. But these solids, liquids, and gases contain molecules or atoms which vibrate back and forth. So the speed of sound through a substance is dependent on the density of the substance. That means that if a substance is more dense, the atoms, the molecules are tightly packed, and so sound will move very fast. But if it's less dense, it means that the atoms and molecules are far apart, and then it will move slower. Sorry, I forgot. There's not a physics class. It's not a physics class. Better. Sound and light are both waves, but light travels faster than sound. Regardless of that, our eyes are nothing without light. And who can resist a dulcet female voice or a suave male baritone?
The light and sound helps to drive sales.
This observation is the main force behind trader Felicity's selection of items for Christmas sales. The items ranging from hats to spectacles are either fitted with buzzers or lights.
They all demand light or sound. If they are absent, they refuse to buy.
For the entire items costing 500 cedis, the ones with light and sound form 80%.
I bought the ones with light and sound for 400 cedis.
Of course, sometimes the electronics go bonkers. Felicity would then try to do some repairs. She fidgets with either the wires or the batteries.
Sometimes, when you play with the wires, they get back to work.
When the attempts are not successful, Felicity has no other choice but to give a discount.
The spectacles are 5 cedis, but I'll give it to you at 4 cedis when the light is not working.
Another trader, Martin, who has gone for about 80,000 cedis worth of these toys, has been observing their electrical system. He has found a way of repairing them.
Mostly, we observed they've been joined together with a super glue, and so when they get spoiled, we use super glue to mend them.
But for patients at the central market, the items are either discarded or go for free.
When they get spoiled, I send it straight to the refuse dump or give it to a child.
An advice for people who want to cash in on a Christmas frenzy. Please don't forget the sound and light. Because if you forget the sound and lights, you're necessarily bound to fight for your diet. Enjoy this Joy News Sounds and Light. My name is Kwesi Deborah for Joy News.
Well, thank you to Chrissy Deborah for that very, very interesting report. We're definitely not going to forget light and sound this Christmas. But staying with Christmas, well, Christmas trees have almost always been made out of expensive, exotic materials that put the cost beyond many who may want to decorate their homes for Christmas. One man is seeking to change that and also help tackle one of the country's biggest environmental problems, plastic pollution. Justice Baidu went to meet him.
Plastic bottles have become a problem for many in Ghana, choking gutters, filling up waterways, worsening the country's already big environmental problems. Here, inside the academic city university in Accra, plastic bottles have a different use.
So this is a receptacle. It's an industry-academia partnership. What we wanted to do was that we wanted to create a sustainable strategy for waste segregation. Because the bigger problem when it comes to plastic pollution is not plastic waste being available in the environment. That's not the bigger problem. The bigger problem is being accessible to recycling facilities.
Makafui Awuku is a serial entrepreneur and engineer. 5 years ago, he started making Christmas trees with plastic bottles.
I realized that when people see the plastic waste being used for upcycled items, it changes their behavior without you even speaking to them about it, because they can see the visible plastics in the installation. And the Christmas tree installation is one of the most amazing installations we do every year. So every year we identify a couple of public spaces, we weave the tree with a couple of volunteers, and then we put lights in them, and we have it installed, and it can be there for a couple of weeks or months. So that's just one of the outlets when it comes to upcycling. And it's a sustainable outlet because after we install the tree, when we are done, we can remove the bottles and then pass it on to other recycling programs.
This is the Achimota School. It is one of the country's oldest and best high schools. And it is here that Awuku's organization is partnering young students to teach them how to build Christmas trees from plastic waste they create in the school.
We have a 20-foot tall tree with a base of 7 feet, made up of about over 1,200 plastic bottles recycled right here in the school. And as you can see, it's really beautiful. And it's all by just one initiative, recycling. The plastic in itself is very intriguing if you look at it, because the situation in the world now is global warming, and that's brought about by wrong plastic management. If you go on the seas, you realize fishermen are catching more plastic than fish, and it's very appalling and sad. If we practice proper waste management, I'm sure we can catch more fish and enjoy our Christmas.
If we had all Christmas tree made with plastics, it's going to save Mother Earth. It's going to save Mother Earth of the waste degradation, plastic waste degradation it would have experienced, choking of drains, gutters, and all of that, as we see every time. And this is the best example for the nation to emulate.
When these trees are lit up in the night, it is a sight to behold, as seen on the Instagram pages of the Achimota School.
For me, Christmas means more of people taking time off to spend with loved ones. Food, laughter, happiness, networking, catching up, rest, So anything we are able to do to help, get people more relaxed, a little bit less stressed, and having something exciting to talk about is wonderful.
Awuku plans to work with more schools to bring the innovation into other parts of the country. So this Christmas, if you see a Christmas tree up your street or anywhere in town, be sure to check. You may just be looking at a Christmas tree made from the bottle you dropped somewhere. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Accra.
Well, that's it for the AM News, but the AM show continues, and my very good friend Elton is joining us for the news review right after this. Don't go anywhere.